Welcome to the Sylvia Sellz Home Community Show. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for joining us. I am Sylvia Reindock, broker and owner of Reindock Realty, and I am here to tell you a little bit about what's going on the market. And then we have a guest today, Blake Weber, who's an attorney. And let me just get my banners right. Y'all know I am my own producer here, so I be doing everything. But welcome to the Sylvia Sellz Home Community Show. Ask me anything about real estate. I am a real person. I'm not Google or Siri or not even Alexa. I am Sylvia, and I'm here to answer any questions you have about real estate. You can put them in the comment area. Even after the show ends, you can still go and put a comment in there and ask a question. I've had someone do that before. We'll get a notification and we can answer your questions about real estate. If we don't know the answer, we will find the answer out for you. But welcome to our show. We're glad that you were able to join us today. Come on, somebody, come on, jump on. We are live with the Sylvia Sellz Home Community Show. And we have a great guest today, Blake Weber. But before we get started, just want to share a little bit about the market and what the market is doing. So the market has shifted. And when I say that, it's no longer a crazy seller's market. It has shifted somewhat. There are houses staying on the market a little longer, price adjustments, but it's still a great time to buy or sell a house. So don't be discouraged by that. But there's always going to be change. Change is going to happen no matter what's going on in our lives, in the world. Real estate market, change is going to happen. Nothing will ever stay the same. So it has shifted. The rates have gone up a little, but people are still buying and selling houses. I have a listing that I put out there last week. It is sold. Well, it has an accepted offer. Yes. And so I'm happy about that. And so houses are still selling. People are still able to buy houses, even though there have been some changes to the market. But Thank you for joining us. Ask me anything about real estate. Again, Sylvia Reindock, broker and owner of Reindock Realty. I've been in the business for over 18 years. We have our own brokerage in Ontario, New York. We opened our brokerage about almost 6 years ago, and then we opened an office about 4 years ago. We have a number of agents to help you with your real estate needs. So thank you for joining us today. Put your comments in the chat, and we will do our best to answer your questions about real estate. So come on, y'all. Somebody jump on. Jump on, somebody. Anyway, my hair looking a little rough here. Oh my goodness. Lordy, lordy, lordy. I'm so dramatic sometimes, y'all. Anyway, so our guest today, Blake Weber. And I'm just going to quickly read his bio here. And Blake, I've known Blake, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years, maybe. I've done quite a bit of business with his office. So here's Blake T. Weber's ESQ. He's an attorney, Esquire, I think that's what it means. And Mr. Weber is a founding member of the firm and oversees the firm's commercial and residential real estate practice. And that's Blake T. Weber Real Estate Company. Not real estate, I'm sorry, attorney's firm. And let's see, resident and real estate practice, business formation and transaction practice, and civil litigation practice area. So that's what he does in his profession. Mr. Weber is admitted to practice in New York State and has 18 years of experience. Wow, the same amount of years I have in real estate. He represents buyers, sellers, and lenders in residential and commercial purchase and sale transactions, large and small businesses with formation, civil disputes, and general corporate support. He was a formal associate at Brown, and I'm going to probably mess up this name, Tarantino, LLC, SCOP, and Plasco, LLP, as well as in-house counsel at Genesis Real Estate Investments, LLC. Mr. Weber is a 2004 graduate of the State University of New York at Buffalo Law School, where he was the editor-in-chief of the Buffalo Public Interest Law Review. Mr. Weber regularly presents on real estate topics at continuing legal education courses for attorneys and teaches realtor education sessions. So we are going to bring on Blake Weber. Thank you, Blake, for joining us today. And you should be there. There's Blake. Yay. Thanks, Blake, for joining us. I love your suit. He is such a cool dresser. I just love the way he dressed. He's all cleaned up today for this broadcast. Yes, he is. But I love following Blake. The way I came to know Blake is, I think I've shared this with you, Blake, is that this dude just was liking everything I did. Great strategy, because when it came time for me to use an attorney, I thought of Blake. On my social media, he was liking everything I do, and he does a lot of posting himself, and he's just a fun person to follow, and he puts up some pretty good little posts and content, and I just think he's just a great guy. And so, yeah, he was liking everything. Like, who is this Blake Weber liking everything that I post on Facebook? And so here's Blake. And so, Blake, thank you for joining us again on our show. And we're going to be talking about your part in the real estate transaction. Because like I said before, I've worked with Blake on a number of transactions. His office does a great job. And also, Weber Law is sponsoring our show today. There will be a $50 gift certificate for a restaurant in Rochester that we're going to give away today using our giveaway tool. We need at least 2 people to jump on. Blake, you might have to text somebody to tell them to jump on if we don't have 2 people, but we need 2 people to jump on. So, Blake Weber, I am going to ask you a couple questions or so. And first one is, how did you get started, or why did you decide to be an attorney? What made you say, I'm going to be an attorney?
Thank you for the kind introduction. And I knew at a young age that I wanted to either be a doctor or a lawyer. And the way I'm wired is as a helper. And that's afforded me a lot of success because my natural tendency is to want to help people and also to be very genuine. So that resonates with people. Just like I liked a number of your posts when we were first getting connected, that's what draws people to me. And then once they're basically, I'm in their radar, thankfully, most people then start to pay attention, realize that I have an excellent team around me, but I'm wired as an advocate. When I was in first grade, if there was a scuffle on the playground, even though I'm not a very big person, I
Hmm.
would immediately get involved, help resolve the situation. And even my teachers sort of identified that. It was something that I've grown into and understand better now, but at the same time, I found the right role for me.
Okay. So in those playground scuffles, did you ever get like beat up? Did
What
somebody?
is what is amazing to me is I'm 45 and I've
Uh-huh.
had so few physical altercations when you relate it to my actual arguments. Like I get into verbal fights all the time, and if anyone goes after one of my team members, that's when let's just say most people would regret fighting with me in those situations. If someone goes
Okay.
after me, I'm not very concerned. And I cannot believe that no one has taken a swing at me because I believe I'm a very nice person, but I'm a very zealous advocate for my clients. And I'm more
Okay.
than comfortable saying my piece. I've had in court several times where the judges are um, encouraging me to be quiet, or else I might end up sitting with in a cage, so to speak. But I very much take my job very personally. I enjoy it, and if people hire me to be their advocate, their fighter. So if
Mhm.
I'm in a situation, I'm going to do my best to protect my client and get out of the situation.
Right. Well, I love that word, advocate.
Mhm.
It's great. It's a great word to be associated with because in what you do, you definitely, you do real estate, and I mentioned in your bio, you did some other type of not real estate, attorney services. And so you definitely need an attorney that is going to definitely advocate for you, and especially because you're paying them money to do it too. So you definitely, but you need one. I've seen attorneys not do a very good job for their clients. So that's definitely a thing that you say is in your heart from the time
Mhm.
you were small. It's something that you do, you advocate. And
Mhm.
so that's great. And then another question. What's your favorite thing to do?
Um, I like problem solving. I really enjoy problems being presented and coming up with unique solutions. And I believe I'm pretty good at it. It's almost to the point where sometimes I need to stop doing that. I think sometimes in my personal life, I like problems and puzzles and fixing things, but sometimes I may benefit from not doing that as often.
Okay. All right. Well, what is your favorite fun thing to do?
Recently, I've been thoroughly enjoying getting familiar with dogs. Um, I, prior to having a dog for a short time, I had no idea how much I cared for animals. And I never was against animals like cats, dogs, or anything like that, but I just never had one. And in a past relationship that was rather recent, in a substantial relationship, the woman wanted a dog, and I wasn't against it, but we, with COVID, found a convenient time to get a dog.
Hmm.
And my gosh, it took me 3 days. Like the first day with the dog, I'm driving back from central New York, and I'm going, what am I doing? But by day three, I'm bringing the dog to bed with us because of how concerned I was as an advocate for the dog. Because the dog's name's Mia. She was nervous, And
Uh-huh.
so I was like, hey, I'm not comfortable with, and Mia was a crate trained dog.
Mm-hmm.
However, after that day, she never went in a crate ever
Oh,
again.
wow.
And it was very good for me to learn about that side of myself, because with pets, you're all they have, and
Yes.
they give you such love and affection, but you have such a responsibility. And I have a lot of responsibility in my life, between my
Mm-hmm.
clients, my
Mm-hmm.
personal life, my businesses, and my team members. Um, and I couldn't appreciate, prior to having a dog, how much I care for dogs. And it was even to the point, when that prior relationship ended, the
Mm-hmm.
only thing really that was a discussion was figuring out what to do with the dog. And what was nice was, it was a very easy decision to do what was best for the dog. And in that situation, my ex, though I was very careful with the dog, she would do anything for that dog. I would too, but I knew the dog would be best with her, which was hard, but
Mm-hmm.
also absolutely focused on the dog. And that dog has a beautiful life. Most people that I know that follow me usually refer to the dogs in my life and go, pretty sure that dog's living way better life than most of us. I'm like, I know. And I got to keep working hard so I can afford it.
Well, I don't own any pets right now, but I had a dog when I was really, 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 really young, and it ran out into the highway and was killed. I
Oh,
remember my heart was broken, but
oh
I've
boy.
never had a pet since then. I'm thinking at some point later on in life I might get a furry friend or child or whatever, but right now I'm just like I'm just enough. It's enough. I'm enough to take care of. And so, but yeah, I think they make great companions once you get in that place. My daughter, she has a cat. My one son, actually, who is no longer with us, he had a cat at one point, and she actually loves animals. She should have been a veterinarian, but she is not. But yeah, um, so I love the way Blake, y'all, I mean, this is a little off topic, but I love the way he dresses. You can see this suit he has on. He is just a fun dresser. He's willing to step out and be fun in his attire. I think the latest I saw was the red shoes. I don't, they're red or pink or
Yeah.
some kind of color.
And
That's
the jacket was lined with that same color.
okay. All right. And then he has a picture I almost pulled off of Facebook, and he's in the Buffalo Bills, I think PJs, and he has a cowboy hat on, I think. Yeah, yeah, with a goofy smile. And so Blake is a fun guy, but serious about what he does for us real estate um, agents. When we hire him or actually choose them to, because we don't hire them, but we choose his firm to represent our clients. And so he does a great, the communication between us and his office is great. They stay on top of the transaction. And so right now we're going to take a quick little commercial, Blake, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have Blake share with us what part do does his firm play, or as an attorney they play in a real estate transaction. So we will be right back. Let me find my commercial because I am my own producer. And here we go. Here we Hey, we're back. I love to dance. I love music. That's one of my favorite things to do. I don't do a lot of clubbing. I used to go out clubbing. Well, I don't do it at all anymore. Different places in my life, but I've loved to dance ever since I was a little girl. So I dance at home, around my office. I just love to dance. And so I just love music. Music is a universal language, makes the world go round. Anywho, so we're back. I am Sylvia Sellz Home Q&A Community Show. Ask us anything about real estate. We will get you the answer. We have people come on here that are a part of our community, our local community. We have people that come on here that are part of our real estate industry. And Blake is an attorney that we've worked with in the past to help us with our real estate transactions. And so we're going to have Blake share with us. Blake Weber, what part do you play in a real estate transaction when we're working with a buyer or a seller?
Certainly. So Weber Law focuses on real estate, and so do the attorneys on my team and my support staff. And in a regular transaction, whether it's a buy or sell, once the parties have negotiated using their real estate agents as their advocates for the negotiation and have a fully executed contract, that's when the contract's normally sent to my attention. My team sets up the transaction, assigns an attorney, and for the most part, what we're doing during a real estate deal is protecting and educating the client. And in that situation, our first level of protection is reviewing the contract. Contracts in New York State are almost all require attorney approval. There's some situations where they weren't, but it's rather rare. And in that situation, what we're going to do is go over with the buyer or the seller the terms of the contract, because it can be very overwhelming, particularly in the last 3 years. Many times people, this may be the 11th contract that they signed, and the prior 10 did not get accepted. Mm-hmm. So by the time they get to us, there's a real chance that the clients would have signed anything. And so the first thing we do to protect the clients and educate them is to go through all the terms of the contract. If we find there's an issue, we'll address it, usually working with our realtor business partners towards the resolution. And sometimes it's simple things of identifying, oh, we have the wrong parties here. You may have a situation where someone passed away, and related to that, they were the owner of the home and the contract may be in their name. However, given that they're no longer with us, it needs to be in an estate. And so what's nice is, in addition to real estate, I have a few other areas of law that I practice, but importantly, I have many people in my network that can assist. So I have firms that do the estate work and they send me the real estate and I send them the estate work. We work very nicely together, and it allows our client to be protected the best they can. So often what we're doing in the role really is just making sure we're covering everybody. We had a situation recently where we had some of the parties were doing things they weren't supposed to. We were able to quickly identify it. And we look at real estate not just for the transaction. I mean, many of us want to get to closing. My joke with clients is I don't get paid till we close. So when clients are pushing to close, I tell them I'm confident that our interests are aligned in getting to closing, but at the same time, my motivation is not financial in nature, it's advocacy. As such, there are times that a client wants to close, but actually it would not be in their best interest to close, because there's usually in those situations some form of a title issue. So most of our role is protection, and we protect at a very high level. There's a lot of people that do real estate. However, some files do go to litigation, and my prior experience as a litigator helps me tremendously. But I no longer do litigation, but I set up a lot of files for litigation, and many of the litigators I work with, they talk about our team, my team, and basically say, you guys have your I's dotted, your T's crossed. Your files are easy to litigate. And we try to not have much litigation, but at the same time, when we do, our clients are well represented.
Okay, so two key words you said. Thank you, Blake. You said you protect and educate the client. So give me an example of, in a real estate transaction, an example of, just one example of when you say we protect, what are you protecting that buyer or seller from?
Certainly. We're protecting their money. We're protecting their future interest in the home and making sure that any and all issues that are public record are identified. Um, and I've had situations where clients have a prior attorney and that attorney made a mistake. No one's perfect. I'm not suggesting I don't make mistakes. However, I make sure any mistake I make is resolved and then resolved in a fashion so there's no harm created. Um, Unfortunately, that's not everybody's position because it's very expensive to do that. So it hurts profitability, but in reality, our obligations to our clients, not to our bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And many attorneys don't act that way, and that causes challenges. And I've had situations where someone doesn't own their home. They reach out to me to sell. We have a contract to sell. And when we review things, two attorneys ago, mistakes were made. And the client did not actually have legal ownership of the home. And in
Oh, wow.
his opinion was, well, I paid for it, I've lived in it, and I kind of disagree with you. And I said, no, no, no. The bank and everybody else thinks it's your house.
Mm-hmm.
However, legally, if you were to go to litigation, which we did do, you don't own it.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
I was able to, given the fact that I knew all the other lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through it all, and they were arguing, and I said, guys, I've reviewed this, and while you have opinions, so do I. In court, this is a slam dunk. So take a moment, get it out of your system, and we're going to fix this. Alternative, you're going to be in the newspaper.
So, alternatively, well, I don't think anybody wants to be in the newspaper for anything that's bad. Okay, so because I always say to my clients, I said your attorney, he's your legal counsel. I can't advise you legally. I'm not an attorney. And so you have an attorney, you talk to them about anything legal in this transaction because I could get in trouble for giving legal advice because that's not my role. And so I said, they look out for your best interest and make sure that legally you are taken care of and you're covered, or they make sure that there's nothing that's going to harm them or hurt them legally in this transaction. So I always refer my clients back to their attorney when they have a legal question. And that's where you come and you protect their best interests. You look out for them, make sure in this transaction that they are going to be taken care of, and you're making sure all the legal aspects of that transaction for them is done correctly and properly into their best interests. And so we, it's great to have a great attorney that is engaged in protecting you as a client when you're going through this transaction, because one word you said, educate, and many people, like a first-time buyer, they've never gone through a transaction. So when you say you educate, I believe what you said earlier is you go through those terms of that contract with your buyer, or with the buyer, saying, okay, this is what this means, and this is how this is going to work, and da 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 da. And so I love how in this transaction, there are, sometimes I don't love it, but there are different players, different players in the process. And so I have a part to play. You as an attorney have a part to play: the buyer, the seller, the lender, the home inspector. But, I wanted to bring you on here so people could just be a little more familiar with when you buy and sell a house, you need an attorney to represent you legally in that transaction, because that contract is a legal binding document. So you want to make sure that you're covered legally, and your attorney is going to make sure that you are taken care of. But Blake does, he does buyers, sellers. I think there was commercial services, business formation. Blake does different types of attorney services, not just real estate. I did mention that in the bio earlier. I was just trying to bring it back up, Blake. And so, yeah, he does, let's see, like large and small businesses, help them to get formed, civil disputes, general corporate support, and of course, like we said, buyers and sellers, residential and commercial purchase and sell transactions. So my phone's ringing, but it's not with me. Anyway, I don't know where it is. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway, we're going to do our giveaway. So Blake Weber or Weber Law is sponsoring our show today. Thank you. And we're going to give away a $50 restaurant gift certificate in Rochester. So unfortunately, Blake, if nobody jumps on, we had 1 and 1 jump on. We can't do the giveaway because my tool actually goes through and it pulls in a hashtag word that people put in the comments, and then they win the prize. But if nobody jumps on, we can't do the giveaway, but we will have this giveaway, and we will still have the certificate. That's what I'm trying to say. And so it will still be, a certificate that's sponsored by Weber Law. So you'll continue to get that commercial for Weber Law. Yes. It's all about exposure and, helping each other out. But right now, and I keep struggling with the time that I do this. It's lunchtime. So I'm thinking like more people would be available, but I keep saying I need to change the time because sometimes I get people jumping on, sometimes I don't, but people can always watch it later. But unfortunately, we don't have anybody that has jumped on for the giveaway. I need at least 2 people. I don't know if you can text somebody, but anywho, we'll keep moving forward. So let's do one more commercial. See if anybody jumps on. If not, we're going to come back and pretty much wrap it up. And I know you have an appointment to get to. So let's see if I can get my, last time we were just staring at the screen, but make sure. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the Sylvia Sellz Home Show, community show. Ask me anything about real estate. We are here to answer your questions regarding real estate, whatever they are. After we in the broadcast, you can still put a question in and we will answer it. We have attorney Blake T. Weber on our show today. He is a real estate attorney. He also helps with forming small businesses, civil disputes, general corporate support. So anyway, Blake has been on here sharing with us what part he plays in a real estate transaction. We do have a giveaway we normally do. We have 1 person watching right now. If we had 2 people watching, we could actually do a giveaway for a $50 gift certificate to a Rochester restaurant sponsored by Weber Law. And they're sponsoring our show today. But hey, whoever's watching, if you could get somebody else to jump on, we can do the giveaway. If not, then we're going to wrap it up. But Blake, as a real estate attorney or someone that I've worked with, and I don't know, what is there any final words that you have for anybody that is looking to buy and sell a house and they need an attorney to help them with that contract once it goes in the contract? Is there anything, last words that you can say to somebody?
I would say for a real estate transaction, whether you're purchasing or selling, it's usually one of the largest transactions most people will do in their lives. It is extremely important to make sure you surround yourself with the right team That's how I've had success. So you want to make sure you're working with a real estate agent that has sufficient experience in that area. You also want to make sure you're working with an attorney that has sufficient experience in that area. And that's very important. I've had times where someone uses their divorce lawyer, someone uses their
Mhm.
estate lawyer. And to be frank about it, oftentimes my firm can run circles around those people because they don't have the experience. But if I went into their area of life, they'd run circles around me. So it's very important when you're looking to do a transaction, buying or selling, to have the right team around you. And I've seen times where people do not have the right team and they definitely regret it.
Well, thank you, Blake. That those final words, that is great advice because you are so correct. If it's not a real estate attorney, there's no telling what you might go
Oh,
through. And so, yeah, I've worked with attorneys that didn't specialize in real estate, and it's been a horror type transaction. So, yes, that's great advice. So, when you're buying or selling a house, you want to work with an attorney that specializes also in real estate transactions because the transaction is going to go so much smoother than if you, like you said, a divorce attorney or I know what other attorney you said, but a real estate attorney knows the process and they know what they're doing. And so it's just a lot smoother. So thank you, Blake. We did have one person jump on, Quatisha. But Quatisha, there's only one. Hi, Blake says hi. Hi, Quatisha. She jumps on regularly. We needed one more person to do the giveaway for a $50 restaurant certificate in Rochester. Maybe next show, but Weber Law is sponsoring that gift certificate. So, but Blake, thank you for joining us. I know you have to get to an appointment. Thank you for coming on. Love the suit again. You're a great dresser. And I look forward to seeing you on Facebook and just keep having fun and enjoying life.
thank you so much, Sylvia. My best to you, your team, and our audience.
Well, thank you. And you have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.